Hi everyone, hope you are all well. Welcome to Solid Rock Take 5 Daily Devotional. Today I'm going to be talking about our plans versus God's plans. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you," and it's God who is talking. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And God clearly states that He has plans for us, and those plans are good. But of course, that doesn't stop us from making our own plans. And before this situation, this whole coronavirus situation, my husband and I were planning to do something to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary, which is coming on the 29th of April. So we were looking at destinations, preferably sunny destinations. But of course, this is not going to happen, and instead we're going to have to celebrate our anniversary here at home. And in the same way, many of you probably had plans for this period. Maybe you plan to go to a family wedding, maybe you plan to go to a conference, or you had meetings, or you have a holiday plans, and because of this crisis, these plans are not going to happen. They are not going to come through. Does that mean that we shouldn't plan? No. And the Bible even talks about it. And I'm going to read just a few scriptures that talks about it. And those scriptures are in the book of Proverbs. I have Proverbs 16:1 that says, the word of God, it says, the plans of the heart belong to man, but the reply of the tongue is from the Lord. And in the same chapter, Proverbs 16 verse 9, it says, a man's heart plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. And again in Proverbs 19:21, it says, many plans are in a man's heart, but the purpose of the Lord will prevail. And we can see here that it is for us to plan. And we have to plan, like practically speaking, we have to plan. We have to have a roadmap of where we're going, what we're going to do, what's going to be needed, and we have to really plan ahead because of wisdom. We have to walk in wisdom. But in our planning, we have to acknowledge that God has the final say. That whatever we do, we have to include God. So whenever we plan, it's important that we include God in our plans. We include God because He's sovereign above all things. He knows all things. But also, not only do we acknowledge that, but also we acknowledge that we want to hear from Him. We want to have His direction. We want to have His guidance in the plans we are making. And all that, always knowing that His plans are way better than our plans. And I'm going to tell a story from the Bible that kind of illustrates that. And that story is the story of Naomi. Naomi was living in Bethlehem with her husband Elimelech. And what happened is a great famine happened in Bethlehem. And they planned to leave Bethlehem and to go to live in Moab. They were hoping for a life of prosperity and success, and also especially to get away from that famine. So whether they prayed to God, I don't know, but what I know is that they left with their 2 sons. And after a couple of years of living in Moab, unfortunately, Naomi's husband Elimelech died. And when her sons grew up, they got married, and a few years later, they also passed away. So what was meant to be a good plan, a plan of success, turned out to be a failure. All of her plans turned very sour. And Naomi was now a lonely woman, destitute, and she decided to go back to Bethlehem. But on her way back to Bethlehem, she did not go back alone. She went back with her daughter-in-law, Ruth. When she was going back, in her mind, she said, all my plans have failed. I'm a destitute woman. But she didn't know that God had planned for her to go back with Ruth, the great-grandmother of King David, and who was also going to be the ancestor of so many kings in Israel. And the best yet, she was in the lineage of our King Jesus Christ. Naomi did not see God's plans, but God's plans were way better than hers. And in the same way, our plans might have failed. We didn't get to do what we were meant to do. But I just want to encourage you now. Remember that God's plans are way better than our plans. And no matter how badly your plans have failed, trust Him. Trust Him for your future. Trust Him with the rest. And He will step in and take over. And maybe it's not your plan that are going to come through, but His plans, which are way